I think many of us who speak out against the genocide have to accept that we haven't been able to save a single life, and yet we must keep speaking out anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I often wonder what is it for? Because I'm again, I feel in a way restless. I never stop talking about Gaza, the West Bank, the Palestinians, because I think I'm like many, I carry a wound right now. It's something that I would have never
Mm.
wanted to see happening again. I am also from a generation who saw the genocide in Rwanda, who read about the genocide in Rwanda. I have vivid memories of the genocide in Bosnia Herzegovina, and seeing the genocide of the Palestinian happening like in slow motion and being the chronicler of this genocide somewhat as made as irreparably wounded me. But it's okay. But the only thing is that my only form of healing is by making sure that people wake up and realize that this is carries the fingerprints of all of us. And when I say that, I'm not using an hyperbole. I'm real. I mean, it's real because when you see the profits that companies registered in Western countries and others are making out of the genocide of the Palestinians, you see, I mean, you lose hope in humanity for good. And it's true that we have not managed to save lives, but we don't know. We don't know, Chris, in fact, because I do believe that had Israel been left free hands, it would have already cleansed Gaza of the Palestinians. While in fact, by denouncing what Israel is doing, we are contributing to make sure that Palestine doesn't disappear from the maps. Because somewhat inside me, I have this sense that the sacrifice of the Palestinians in Gaza will continue. Will continue, really, will continue unless there is an arms embargo and unless the blockade I mean, the siege is broken. And it cannot happen without coercive measures. The only way to protect Israel, to ensure that Israel is protected, is by stopping Israel. Israel is harmful to the Palestinians, to the region, is harmful to many of us, and is harmful to itself and its citizens. This is something that Israelis must understand. None of us working for human rights and justice have anything. Personally, I have a lot of pain for the Israelis themselves because I think that this is, I mean, they must be traumatized to the point that they have lost their humanity. And I can just think of a huge form of healing, both for the Palestinians and the Israelis. But again, I don't know, surely we have not saved lives, but we have contributed to show the real face of Israel's apartheid.
When you talk about coercive measures, I covered the withdrawal of Iraqi forces from northern Iraq when they were carrying out a genocidal campaign against the Kurds. NATO forces established a no-fly zone. Iraqi forces had to withdraw. What was happening to the Kurds doesn't begin to compare, finally, what is happening to the Palestinians in Gaza. But it was clear at that moment that only coercive measures would save the Kurds, and you're of course correctly pointing out that that is exactly now where we are with the Palestinians. That without coercive measures, and that has to be imposed from the outside, then Israel's campaign of uh, uh, genocide and probably displacement will not be stopped.
No, absolutely. And you know what shocks me is that when I talk to member states, even the most enlightened, so to speak, in the global, I mean, in the West, which I call the global minority, given our territorial irrelevance in this world. But even when he spoke to member states who seem to have an enlightened position and a human rights oriented position on Palestine, when you make when I make my recommendations to them, they say, "Oh, but you really expect us to boycott Israel?" Well, you're a state. It's not up to you to boycott. You have an obligation to not to aid, not to assist, not to trade with Israel, not to send weapons, not to buy weapons, not to provide military technology, not to buy military technology. This is not an act of charity that I'm asking you. This is your obligation. And this sort of nonchalance the member states have, even the ones who appear the most principled, toward the disrespect of international, because this is what they do. They are, with great nonchalance, they violate international law through and through. And the only thing that comes to their mind is, but do you think that we are really going to isolate Israel? Yeah, yeah. I mean, the fact that they are really struggling with the thought is a measure of how far we are from the solution of the question.